that how horror itself allows us a safe handshake, a safe way to acknowledge and indulge those dark parts of us that for the most part we really don't want to take a look at. Some parts we may not even be able to take a look at. Now, how is it healing? Well, of course, psychoanalyst Carl Jung called this dark part of us the shadow self. And we all have this dark side, no matter who we are. We have this other piece as well, known as the persona. The persona is the mask that we wear, that we put in front of people to make society feel that we can be accepted by them. And there's a constant turmoil between these two things. There's a battle between the persona and this dark part of us, the shadow self. And what Jung says is that, a lot of times people tend to vacillate towards that persona because who doesn't want to be loved? But the reality is the people who stay away from their dark side, the ones that don't look at that shadow self, tend to have the darker, more powerful, and bigger shadow selves. And sooner or later, that's going to become a problem. What Jung says is that, hey, you can choose to ignore your shadow self at your own peril. Sooner or later, that shadow is going to demand your attention. And that's when things like, you get divorced, you declare bankruptcy, you do something crazy to land on TMZ and become internet famous. That's what happens when you ignore your dark side long enough. But there's great news. Ta-da! Of course, Jung gives us some great news. He says that there is light within that shadow, if you can look for it. Jung says that it is positive, healing light. If you go into that dark part of yourself, you can find the thing that can heal the exact thing that is making all of that darkness, if you are willing to go search for it. The key to that search is that you want to acknowledge your shadow. You do not want to become it. Now, I consider the horror film a safe way to have that handshake with our shadows. Now, I know I might be in the minority here, but I'm someone who actually feels better if I watch a horror movie. Horror movies put me in a better mood. Nothing takes the edge off of a stressful day better than watching someone get decapitated by an axe murderer. When I'm feeling a little depressed, nothing blows away the blues like hearing the screams of some unlucky hunter while he's being torn to shreds by some mutated bear. Just the thought of someone unable to start their car engine while one of their undead relatives is banging on the windshield with a hammer sometimes takes my anxiety and brings it to a manageable level. Hey, I'm just a regular guy. A show of hands here. I can't really see that well, but